I'm a peculiar looking little bastard, which is why I was so intrigued by this, which carries all the same characteristics. The Guild Ashbory bass, 18-inch scale, silicone rubber strings, no truss rod, and one pickup at the bridge. Around 1,200 of these were made between 1986 and 1988, and this is number 1024. And it was actually very kindly gifted to me by Jerry Keane of the USA. So, who could come up with such a ridiculous concept? Gotta be an Englishman, right? Wrong. It was two Englishmen. One of which was Alan Ashworth Jones, an influential English folk and blues songwriter turned instrument maker. And the other was Nigel Thornbury, who I can't find much information on because the internet just provided me with this guy.
That was smashing.
And interestingly, that's not the only bass guitar connection to that TV show. You know what I mean, right? Anyway, our story begins here. Nigel went to visit Alan in Cornwall, and during lunch and a few beers in the pub, which is how all the greatest ideas from this country seem to originate, they started to discuss how Alan had accidentally found that stretching a rubber band over one of his transducer pickups produced quite a sound. And, as if by magic, the pair immediately handcrafted an instrument that would change the world of music forever. Bloody hell. Yep, that really was their first effort. And yes, that is an old floorboard. But once they'd sobered up, they gave it another go, and what an improvement. Alan and Nigel debuted their invention at a guitar exhibition only a few weeks later, and it was a hit, with crowds gathering to see the tiny beast in action. At this point, it attracted the attention of Chris Martin. No, not that Ponce from Coldplay. Chris Martin IV of Martin Guitars. And he commissioned the making of prototypes, while the dynamic duo settled on the name Ashbory. These prototypes resulted in the Fender style on the left and the Steinberger style on the right. But the duo feared they looked too much like toys and wouldn't be taken seriously, and so they settled on this. Shit's a brick. Been down the pub again, lads. I don't know if it was that colour scheme that put off the guys at Martin, but they eventually signed up with Guild Guitars, and thus the Guild Ashbory was born. From rubber bands and floorboards to an official launch at NAMM 1987, Guild made these things for a couple of years before production ended, and they were eventually reintroduced by Fender over 10 years later. The only British instrument ever licensed to Fender. Now, I'd be lying if I said there aren't a couple of issues with this thing. Even the official manual states that the fret markers are not precise. But this isn't a big issue, apparently. And I don't know if my E-string has become unwrapped or something, because my one is suspended in perpetual drop D, and I daren't touch it. But here's the biggest problem. These silicone strings create so much friction that it's almost unbearable to play. The solution to this is to coat them in talcum powder. And this isn't just my advice, this is the official recommendation that comes with the instrument and the strings. Note, optimal performance is achieved when the player's hands are lightly dusted in talcum powder. The problem being that, since then, long-term use of talcum powder has been linked to a variety of cancers, with a worldwide ban expected to be enforced by next year. And I haven't found a suitable replacement for this. I did try baby powder with a new cornstarch formula, but I needed a hell of a lot more than a light dusting. I posted that clip a couple of months ago, and a lot of you were bewildered by the mysterious room of white powder. I probably should have explained what a sound that was, though. I have a tone tutorial on my YouTube members area and Patreon if you are interested. The clean DI, however, was less impressive. It just doesn't sound good plugging it into an audio interface. But today, I'm going to use it as intended and plug it into a real amp. And what a fitting amp it is. This tiny thing just arrived from Phil Jones' bass. And this is going to be my first time plugging it in. So let's see how they both sound. let me know your thoughts on the wacky Guild Ashbory bass, as well as the tiny Phil Jones amp. If you have any better suggestions for a talcum powder replacement, please let me know. Please hit subscribe if you haven't done already, and I'll see you next time, you dipsticks.